It's now time for the morning show on XL7-TV.
Welcome to the morning show on XL7-TV. I'm David Stroud here with Scooter Scott Callies.
Whoop, whoop.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Very good. I've been very busy the past few days.
Yeah, you had a little position change.
Yeah. Bumped me up.
Congratulations.
Bumped me up to sales manager. Thank you.
I know it's going to be, it's like starting any position. It's always tough at first. You got to learn the job.
Yeah.
And then you have all these ideas and changes
Yeah.
that you want to implement and you think it's going to make things better, but you've got to go through the learning process. And
Yeah.
it's tough. I get it.
It takes time. Last night, came in this morning. I was running a little bit late. And,
You? You usually never running late. I
Usually
got to
I'm
give
not,
him
yeah.
credit. He's here early.
Yeah. Get things set up.
Yes.
Let you get your cameras just right and all your graphics.
You're like me. You like to be here early,
Yeah.
get stuff done, be able to chill, relax, catch your breath,
I know, right?
rather than rush. I'm just not that kind of.
Me neither.
My wife's one of them that she can get up and I got to be somewhere in 15 minutes and I'm going to get up right at this time and then head out and blah blah blah. It's just not me.
It's not either.
I like breathing room.
I like a good hour before I need to
Yes.
get, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
So I get up early in the morning. I get up
Yeah.
at 3:30. Nobody else is up. Trust me, in my house
Right.
at 3:30.
No.
But that's my time.
Yeah.
That's
got
my
pl-
time. I take my shower. I can do whatever. I can breathe a little bit.
That's
I'm
right.
not rushed.
That's how I usually get. I get here about 30 minutes early in the morning, and I get to work about 30 minutes early just to have that time that you're talking about.
And trust me, it helps me too.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
get that time to set up cameras, and
Right.
get things ready. Yep.
And it'd be good for you. I mean, I'm just saying that I can't do that. I've got 1 minute before we open at work.
I can't do that. No, that's just not me.
No, me
I got to
neither.
be early. I got to be set up early.
Yeah,
That's just how I am. That's just how I roll.
I hear you. But no, it's not been too bad. But a lot of processes to learn.
Lack of sleep.
And lack of sleep. Like I got to bed about 11 last night, and usually on the show nights I go to bed about 9:30. That hour and a half made a difference.
I was tired when I woke up this morning. I went to
Yeah.
bed a decent hour. I don't know what it was, but this morning it was kind of had to fight it a little bit. But
Yeah, long day.
once I'm up, I'm up. Well, long day. I came in here, and I'm sorry for anybody who was trying to get a hold of me in the afternoon time, but I went fishing.
That's
I've been
So-
talking about getting on that river every time we see it every morning on
Yeah.
the cameras.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to be that person that's out there.
yeah. If
So-
only I'd gotten on the camera and I'd been like, "There's Scooter."
My brother Brian, you'll be seeing him here later. He's our guest. But he was in town. He came in for my daughter graduation last weekend. He's staying all week through my son's graduation. So
That's awesome.
I had one night that we didn't have something going on, which was yesterday. And I'm like, we're going fishing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I was going to put a sign up on the door that just said "Gone Fishing."
Then people would have understood. They'd been, "Oh, yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you're
I
good.
understand. You're fine.
You're fine. Everything's
Around
fine."
here, that's understood.
Yeah.
No problem. I get it. It's like gone hunting. No problem. I'll
Right.
catch up with you later. We're fine. No, but we did good. The water, I can tell you, the water's still murky. Got a lot of stuff going down. You got to watch for branches, stuff like that floating down it. But
Flowing pretty good.
it was.
Speed,
It was
yeah.
moving pretty good. Water wasn't as high as it's been, but it's still dirty,
Yeah.
which makes fishing a little tougher. But we did good. I think we kept 5, and then we let a lot of them go,
Sure.
smaller ones and stuff. We want decent size if we're going to keep it. So
That's awesome.
but we had a good time. It was relaxing. It was fun, and
Relaxing just made him tired this morning.
yeah, I don't know why. Well, then I went home and mowed for quite a few hours. So
Oh, now that's the kicker.
yeah.
That'll wear you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, in some of the areas I was mowing, it's a little dusty, and I've got a mulching kit on this certain mower that I was running, and so it kind of blows that up, so you're breathing that, and it's yuck.
Yeah. I
But
don't like
got
mowing.
it done.
Good.
Got it done. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of mowing. You know that.
I know.
Should we start the show?
We probably should. You run over every time anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
We take 5 minutes to talk about our day.
There you go.
You know?
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Roller Funeral Home, with all our respect. They have 29 in the state, one in Memphis, Tennessee. We sure do appreciate them in our time of need when we lose a loved one. They sponsor the morning prayer, so let's pause now for the morning prayer. Dear Lord, and I want you to watch over everybody in this world. Watch over especially our children, those that are struggling, those that aren't making the right decisions, you know. Find somebody to help them. Find somebody to touch them on the shoulder and let them know that everything's going to be all right. And just, you know, a lot of things going on. I think you know, and I hope people are praying to you about it and that it gets better. Please watch over our children, our first responders, and our military, those that put themselves in harm's way for our freedoms. And this I pray, amen.
Amen.
Roller Funeral Home, with all our respect. Give them a call and talk to them about pre-need service. It's always good to have a plan in place. They're at 870-425-2161. Or you can take a short drive up 5 North and find the biggest American flag flying over their building you've ever did see and pull in there.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's good to have a plan in place, and they'll tell you everything that you need to know. The cost, you can even do payment plan.
Yep. You can lock it in at today's rate and get it done. Exactly.
Because with the way things are going, it just keeps going up. It'd be good to, you know, pay today's prices instead of future prices, which never seem to stop going up. Right?
It just takes a little pressure off your loved ones. You know, it's inevitable. Everybody's going to be there.
Yep.
And it's just, you know, when your loved ones are going through a tough time, going through the loss, and then having to deal with all that, and it's just better to have that taken care of.
It is. And everything's all set up. You can grieve properly, I guess they would say, with letting Roller Funeral Home take care of everything. With that, let's now pause for Bob and Linda Zadora of the Z-Team.
Well, folks, have you been trout fishing before?
Not since I was a little kid.
You'll do fine.
Hey, what are you doing?
Aren't you coming along?
See you downriver.
How do you start this motor? I've never been in a boat before.
See you downriver.
Well, folks, have you sold a house before?
Yeah, about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you'll be okay then.
You sure?
Where are you going?
See you at the closing.
Hey!
At the closing.
We should have called the Z-Team.
That's right. Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. Bob and Linda Zadora of the Z-Team. They will take care of you start to finish. They're not going to push you down river like that. You ain't got to worry about it. Isn't that right, Scooter?
That's right. They walk you through every step there is. I
Yeah.
mean, they deal with a lot of new buyers, and they also deal with people that have been buying and selling for quite a while, and they know what to tell you, make sure you know every step, what's going on. They want you to be happy and knowledgeable about the decisions you're making.
Definitely.
And they're the kind that down the road when you see them at Walmart, they want you to be happy and come up and say, hey, that was my realtor right there. Right. I need to talk to him.
Right.
And they thrive for that. That's why their customer service is so high.
Mm-hmm. They look for you to refer them to friends and family. That's I mean, you can't say anything better about the service that you got is by letting your friends and family know. And it's just the ultimate compliment, you know?
True.
Let's take a look at the White River, brought to you by Bob and Linda Zadora of the Z-Team.
Or the fog thereof. That's
Oh,
what
wow.
it looks like this morning,
How about that?
believe it or not.
You can go to retiredarkansas.net and find this beautiful view.
Hey, we've got a still shot.
There
So
you
here the picture is normally. I was actually looking at this yesterday when we were on the river, kind of dictating it. We couldn't tell if the water was coming up or down because I knew it was changing.
Yeah.
So we went to the close-up camera so I could see the banks, see where the water levels were at and stuff. So it actually came in useful. But this is the still shot of the camera that was taken a number of years back.
Mm-hmm.
But believe it or not, this is the same shot this morning. Look at all that fog. You can't see anything.
It's
And
it's
the close-up's even worse. I mean, our zoom-in camera is just nothing but fog.
Looks like a blank screen, like just put an error on it, like the old Microsoft error that would come up when it's not working.
But see, that's where I was at yesterday on that White River. See, we've been talking about it, looking at it every morning, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going fishing.
That's awesome. and you didn't invite me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Cotter, Arkansas, the Horseshoe Bend of the White River, brought to you by Bob and Linda Zadora of the Z Team. And we bring it to you every day, but you can go to it anytime that you want at retiredarkansas.net. And, there's foggy right now, but it'll clear through probably, in the next 45 minutes to an hour. And really cool when a storm comes through, a lightning storm, even a snowstorm. I've been on there when there's a snowstorm, and it looks like, Star Wars. It really does, coming at the camera. And you got the Rainbow Bridge there off to the left. But if you're looking to buy or sell a home, give them a call, 870-405-0793. They are licensed in Arkansas and Missouri, so if you find something over in Gainesville or Bakersfield, and a lot of people do, they like an even smaller town than where we live, and you can give them a call and they can help you out. But maybe you're, looking to downsize. They're senior real estate specialists, and they can help you get rid of that big house that everybody's, the kids have moved away, and now you've got this big house that's you're getting tired of keeping it clean. Maybe you're outside of town, need to move inside of town. You got some more doctor's appointments going on, and you just want to be closer in case something happens, and that's just a part of life. They can help you with selling that big house and finding you something a little smaller in town.
And if you're moving out,
yeah.
If going
Moving
back with
town.
your kids, whatever the case may be, they have a wide network, and they can look at information on realtors behind the scenes that we can't see, and they can find you a realtor that's like-minded and will take care of you. So either way, they can take care of you no matter what's going on.
Very good. Well, and I haven't called them yet because I'm waiting, but Mom's house over in Kentucky. Yeah. I'm going to call Linda and ask them if they can get me in touch with a realtor over there in Louisville. So,
and they will.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, let's take a look at the weather, brought to you by the Z Team.
You may want to update your weather radar.
Here we go.
I will say this, though. If you go to their site and their wide-angle camera, as the sun starts cutting through and that fog starts cutting, it is some of the most breathtaking
the yellows
views.
And oranges. And
so I do encourage that this morning. I know it looks foggy right now, but it will be some breathtaking views here in about an hour.
Very good.
Or maybe less. Who knows?
Yeah, I already see maybe it's peaking up there on the top.
Yep.
In Mountain Home, it's 57, Harrison at 56, Batesville at 60, Yellville at 57, Marshall at 61, Salem at 55, Mountain View at 61, Calico Rock at 57, West Plains at 55, Springfield at 56, Poplar Bluff at 59, and St. Louis at 60. So we're pretty much even today. No clear winner of the low. National Weather Radar, it's showing in the 1 o'clock hour, so let's let it, there we go, roll back around. This is in the morning time about an hour ago. You can see some activity rolling across to Oklahoma, and there we go. It looks like it's heading east, but keeps clicking out on me. I don't know if that's really going to accumulate over into our area. It's so far away. It looks like it's kind of going south.
I don't think we really have anything until Friday, which is, of course, graduation.
Graduation, of course. It seems to happen just about every year. But it's just minor activity across the U.S. You can see some in northern Idaho, up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But let's zoom into Arkansas and Missouri. And it looks pretty clear for the most part, Like I said, over in Oklahoma, but I don't think it's really going to come into our area. Mississippi has some activity, Alabama. I think we're going to be okay, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're known about that. Mm-hmm. You're known to be.
And watches and warnings across these. Man, look at the northern part. They have an air quality alert. Anyway, Arkansas and Missouri is in the clear. 7-day forecast today, sunny, high at 83. Tonight, mostly clear, low at 60. Friday, we got a 30% chance of thunderstorms, increasing to 70% chance, high of 76. Friday night, 40% chance of thunderstorms. Stay away, low of 55. Saturday, it's sunny, high of 74. Saturday night, mostly clear, low of 52. Sunday, mostly sunny, high of 77. Sunday night, partly cloudy, low of 54. Monday, mostly sunny, high of 80.
All right, I do want to mention this since we're on the weather right now, and I know Friday's looking pretty bad. Just so people know, if it is raining on Friday, they're going to move graduation till 10 o'clock Saturday morning.
Okay.
And if it's still raining, they're going to move it to 2 o'clock. And by 2 o'clock, if it's raining, they're going to move it indoors. One way or another, they'd have it by 2 o'clock, either indoor or outdoor.
Okay.
But they're trying not to bring it indoor because not everybody can sit in the gym, and some will have to go to Dunbar and see it on a screen. So I do know that they will move it. And from what it's looking like weather-wise, we may get some rain on Friday, so they may move it to 10 o'clock Saturday, but Saturday's looking really good.
Saturday looks really good, so very good. Pollen count, tree pollen today is high, tomorrow is low, Saturday is low. Grass pollen today is low, tomorrow is high, and Saturday is high. And I've gone and done it again. I did not call. Norfolk Lake water levels at 556.97. Level is 4.97 feet above full pool. And if you want to know how many they're generating,
we can find out on the break. How's that?
Okay, 870-431-5311. Bull Shoals Lake water levels at 665.71. Level is 6.71 feet above full pool. That is a look at your weather, brought to you by Bob and Linda Zadora of the Z Team, Century 21 Lead Map Realty. Give them a call at 870-405-0793. Go to retiredarkansas.net where you can find all their listings, the MLS listings, and a plethora of information. Plethora. With that,
we're going to take a real quick break, come back with some community events, and I will make him call and find out about the dam reports. So we'll be right back.
I'm going to do that right now.
Hi, Brett, Fritz, and Paisley here at Mower Warehouse on Buzzard Roost Road. We sell Ferris zero-turn mowers that have patented coil spring suspension. Mower Warehouse has the largest selection of Ferris zero-turn mowers in stock. 0% financing available. We buy, sell, trade new and used mowers. Mower Warehouse also services all brands of mowers. We offer free delivery. Come see us for all your mower needs. That's Mower Warehouse on Buzzard Roost Road in Mountain Home, where your business is appreciated.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detailed services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. Okay, so the dam report. Bull Shoals is running 3, and Norfolk is 0, but they've got 2 spillways open, running 1,000 CFMs. So
they're not running much. So the water should be coming down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of water to generate, so we're good.
We're good.
It's not like it's been where they were running
6
and then 4, and then at one point in time they had 14 floodgates open in Bull Shoals and another 6 or 8 or something in Norfolk. So we're not running that kind of water, but the water's still kind of yucky. So
just be safe. Good fishing.
Now on to the next
Community
segment.
News.
Brought to you by
Mower Warehouse of Mountain Home, Arkansas. They're located at 75 Holmes Road, 17 Full Bite Drive. You got 2 things wrote down here. You can go to mountainhomemowerrepair.com and you can give them a call at 870-701-5222 for all thanks. For all your mower and outdoor, it's that time of year again, needs. Go by there. They have a huge selection of mowers, riding lawnmowers, push mowers. They've got weed eaters, chainsaws, generators, and parts galore. You should see the wall of parts inside of that place. They service them. It's just
they service about any brand that you have out there. They carry parts for a lot of the brands out there. So if you're looking for something rather than getting on and waiting for eBay or whatever to send you the parts, stop by there. They're more than likely to have it or can get it in maybe a little quicker.
That's right.
They'll take care of you.
Sounds good. All right, in community news, Little T's Mini Golf and More here in Mountain Home, Arkansas is having a fundraising mini golf tournament. That'll be May 31st. It looks like they have 3 flights. Flight 1 is at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Flight 2 at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And Flight 3 is at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Only $150 per team of 5, 18 teams per flight. It looks like there'll be a 50-50 raffle. Team, let's see, lowest team score, most holes in one. Most holes in one. You can contact Scott at littleteasminigolf.com. That's their email. And you can go by at 39 County Road 917 in Mountain Home. It looks like this is for the Let's Fly Our Bombers to Australia.
It's a good cause. It really is.
It is a good cause. Very nice.
And who doesn't like to play mini golf?
I love playing mini golf, and I can hole in
there
one.
You go. There you go. There's your teammate right there,
I
guys.
can hole in one, buddy.
He is wanting to play. Listen to him.
Mm-hmm. Branson, the golf course at, yeah.
Oh, you
the
tear this one up.
Oh.
See? Be nothing.
Nothing. And more community news. Today starts the Friends of the Library used book sale. Have you ever been to that?
No.
I've been to that. And they've just books galore for a bargain. And that starts today. They do that every quarter. And it goes through Saturday. Saturday is when the bargain is. Okay. You get like stuff as much in a bag as you can get for a certain amount. And
but all the good stuff's gone.
Well, that's why
it's like garage selling. You got to get up at like 3 in the morning. By the time you get there at 8 o'clock, all the good stuff's gone.
Right. So go today and find the good stuff, and then go Saturday and get the bargains.
There you go.
There you go. It'd be real good. But I like to look on the calendar of events on enjoymountainhome.com. That's our Chamber of Commerce's website. And very informative, very easy to read, very easy to navigate. You can see the little number here in the corner, 3. That shows on the 19th, there's 3 events that's been posted. The 20th, there's 4. You can scroll down through. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go to Saturday. So we'll click on this one because it'll give you information. Here we go. Mini hardcover books under $3, paperbacks under $1, and DVDs for just $2.50.
What a
and
deal.
Then, let's see, round up your purchase at checkout just to show your love, because all of this goes to benefit our local library. You know, that's what the Friends of the Library do. All the proceeds do the events and programs, and they do a lot
we
of them.
have one of the best libraries around.
We
it
do.
Is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And you can see here, note, Saturday morning items are half price, and a $2 per bag sale starts at noon. That's what I was talking about. I couldn't remember, but $2 a bag. You fill a bag for $2. Yeah, you can't beat that. So, but yeah, go to enjoymountainhome.com. And if you have something that's going on, you can contact them, and they'll put it on there. You can see you've got the Marek Family Center, Grandma's House Children's Advocacy Center, the Baxter County Library. They do a lot. So the Schliemann Center, you know, they go and they put their information on here and let people know what's going on. Check that out, enjoymountainhome.com. I love their website. And that's a look at our community events. Besides, this Friday's graduation, so that's really cool.
Or Saturday.
Okay.
Well,
he
we
could
gotta
be.
throw that out
he
there.
could be wrong.
I could be, but you're the one known to be wrong.
That's a look at your community news. We have gone way past. We've got a.
Yeah, you're long-winded.
Long-winded. We are going to go to a quick break and come back with Brian Callies with Saving Lost Kids.
When you think about Hospice of the Ozarks, it's our desire that you think about finding a way to live your life to the fullest while living with a serious illness. If you ever need help and support, we provide a team of healthcare professionals and volunteers that will support your physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects of life while doing the same for your family and caregivers in the comfort of your own home or wherever you call home. When you think about Hospice of the Ozarks, we hope that you grant us permission to walk on the journey with you. Your not-for-profit option since 1979.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as they would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite climate-controlled and air-filtered boarding facility in the area with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. 201 also offers professional grooming services. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
All you've ever wanted was a place to write your story. You hear it's not the right time to buy or sell a house, but really, the best time is when it's right for you. The real estate markets, they change, they go up, they go down. One thing that doesn't change is where you want to be in your life. The professionals you team up with will make your story happen. The Z Team are the professionals you need to hire for your next chapter. So call the Z Team at 870-405-0793, Century 21 Lemac Realty, 1024 Highway 62 East, retiredtoarkansas.net.
Are you looking for the best barbecue in 2 states?
Holy smokes!
Want the meatiest fall-off-the-bone ribs?
Holy smokes!
The most tender and delicious pulled pork?
Holy smokes!
The tastiest brisket in the Ozarks?
Holy smokes!
Holy Smokes Barbecue and Catering is the only place you need to go. Dine in, carry out, and the best food for your next catered event.
Holy smokes!
We're your mountain home for great barbecue cooking.
Holy smokes!
A higher calling for your taste buds.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment, their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Welcome to the morning show on XL7-TV. Our guest is Brian Callies with Saving Lost Kids. And Callies, I know that last name. How do you know this guy over here?
Well, it's not something we usually say in public, but that's my brother. You know? No, he's we call him Bubba. So he's a great guy. Scooter's
call him Bubba. Guy. Yeah. Well, Scooter, Scott, and now Bubba. Well, thank you for joining us.
He's the only one that calls me Bubba.
Oh, okay. It's personable.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
He was my fellow fisherman yesterday.
Well, yeah. He caught the 5 fish, and you.
Actually, my son caught majority. I got to give him credit.
He did.
It wasn't me. I was too busy running the boat.
Yeah, he was the guide for the trip. So
I was
it was a lot of fun.
Boat runner. I wasn't guiding.
We didn't wreck. Didn't hit any trees or anything. No
That's
rocks.
A plus.
Acted like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
But it's hard to not catch fish on the White, right? It's
is.
hard to. I mean, there's fish everywhere on that thing. I love the White River.
Yeah, it's a beautiful river. We love it, and it brings a lot of people to the area. It's a big draw, most definitely.
Right now, I'm in Memphis, and so it's like everybody who wants to take a vacation wants to fly in to go fishing for trout. They always want to come out and home.
Yeah, so it's very good. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your history, and how you got into this mission of Saving Lost Kids.
All right, so Saving Lost Kids, how it started. So I do a lot with children. I have done a lot with children as far as like youth ministry and Boy Scouts and all that kind of stuff. So I've always kind of been into that. But the way Saving Lost Kids really started was I'm a pastor. I don't know if you guys know that, but about 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago, I was given a message, and the message was that there's 2 different ways to kind of lead a life in God, right? You can come up with your own plans, your own ideas, your own schemes, or you can let God lead you into something.
Yeah.
And the difference is sometimes He'll lead you into something you had no insight into. You don't know why He's leading you in that way. But if you can follow that path, it's always a better path.
Definitely.
So, so I opened up my life at that point and said, all right, I don't know that I've ever done that. I took the reins off and said, Lord, you just lead me someplace that I've never been, right? Like just wherever you want me to go, I'll go. And so I did that. And 7.5 years ago, he said, all right, I want you to keep doing music. And I said, well, good, I like that. And he goes, I want you to keep doing ministry. I said, good, I like that too. And then he said, and I want you to go save lost kids. And I didn't realize what he meant was, at the time, but it was missing, exploited, and sex-trafficked children. And all 3 of those have something to do with each other. So they're really combined. Most people want to think about missing kids and then sex trafficking, but they're really all 3 combined. And I thought he was crazy. Why in the world would you get me involved in that? Like, aren't there people that do that? Isn't there organizations that do that? And law enforcement does that. I kind of really thought the situation was handled. And so what I did is tried to get involved, did a lot of research, and tried to get involved to see what organizations I could connect with that are really doing something impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, what I found is that most of it is swept under the rug, or is not addressed, or there's not enough resources, or there's so much lack when you're talking about missing kids. And then today it's gotten to be more popular. At the time, it really wasn't that popular to talk about sex trafficking, and now it's like you hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we just thought we would be able to connect to groups, and what we did is we built a lot of bridges, but we never really got to solve the problem that way. So then we decided to form our organization, which is Saving Lost Kids, to intentionally focus on the issues.
Yeah.
And we let numbers drive our response. So not television. Most of what you see on television is completely off the mark.
Is it?
And so what we do is try to find what the numbers are, where are the kids being missing, what's the cause, what's the problem, solve the problem.
Definitely, because it is, they have a website, savinglostkids.org, and I visited it last night, and one of the things I'd read, and I thought I'd heard this before, human trafficking is the second fastest growing criminal industry, just behind drug trafficking. And where that led me to, what is the source of the problem? And most missing children are primarily runaways.
Yes.
And one of your stats was in 17, there was 27,000 cases of runaways. 27,000 in the U.S.
That's just the ones that were analyzed. So, okay, so to give you a few stats, right? So I kind of like stats.
Yeah.
So everybody asks me how many kids are missing today, right? There's no way to know that answer. Anybody that tells you an answer is just so a complete guess. Like, well, there's no way to know that. What we can know, though, is when children are reported missing. And so there's a database called the NCIC database. It's an FBI database. Every time a missing child goes missing, they have to put an entry in this thing. And so last year, every year, there's about 500,000 entries for missing children in the U.S. Sometimes those are multiple for the same child, but still, there's 500,000 entries.
That's too many, yeah.
And then if you go look at runaway, you mentioned runaway, right? So most people don't know this. I can ask just about every event we go to, what's the number one reason why children go missing in the U.S.? And it's not what people think. It's not abduction, and it's not just online, even though online is really dangerous. 91%. Almost every year, it's right off the bat. 91% of missing children last year ran away from home.
Yeah.
And why is that so scary? According to another statistic, each year there's about 1.5 to 3 million entries. Youth run away each year in the U.S.
Yeah. Ages 16 to 17, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of like the sweet spot. Like we get them all the way from 12.
Oh wow!
But 16, 17 is kind of like the I guess if you say that if you scope it out, put it all on a histogram and try to figure out what the most common.
Yeah.
16, 17. Usually it's. If it's for an easy thing, it's something like they're getting arguments with mom or dad, or they think they're trying to live a life, and they're trying to grow into their new adultishhood, and so that's a runaway issue that we have. The big one for sex trafficking, though, is predators, a bad guy, a trafficker. They'll encourage a relationship with that child, and then in that encourage that child to eventually run away.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's where we see a lot of our trafficking victims are really runaways. And because you got to think, when a child runs away from home, I know this is kind of a hard topic to talk about first thing in the morning, isn't it?
Sure.
So I'm going to give you guys some credit. But if a child does run away from home, like let's say it's a 16-year-old, right?
Right.
So where are they going to spend the night tonight? What are they going to eat tonight? What are they going to eat tomorrow? How are they going to make a living? How are they going to get to their next place? All the little things that have to be there, like we would take for granted, are missing because they cannot support themselves. They don't have that ability. They don't have that opportunity. So bad guys step in. And
Right.
that's where we get a lot of the trafficking things, is a bad guy goes, why don't you spend the night with me? You can stay with us, we'll take care of you. Or they build a relationship with them first, and then they kind of encourage that.
Yeah, groom them online. It seems
Mhm.
to be the most prevalent now. Is they don't know who they're talking to, you know, and
Exactly.
kids are susceptible to being tricked online pretty
Yes.
easily. So, well, your mission, you got a 3-step mission: prevent, rescue, and restore. Prevent is on education awareness, and this is both for the parent and the child.
Yes.
And you just touch on that 3-step mission, if you would.
Sure. So prevention is the key. Like, once a child goes missing, it gets hard. Once the child gets exploited, it's even harder. And so if you can stop it from happening to begin with, that's easy. And usually bad guys are exploiting really simple vulnerabilities to fix. If the child knew the safer choice, and if the parents knew what red flags to look out for. So we start by teaching the children. If they're little guys, we'll teach them easy things like check first. Before you go out with somebody, before you leave a group, before you go talk to a stranger, you got to check first, right? And so little guys, it's really simple. And you would not believe, at all the events we do, just before COVID, we did 150 public events teaching prevention. And of all those, any child under the age of 12, I can walk out of any park at any time. Like, it's that easy to take advantage. So all we're doing is trying to teach them a little safety that they have to check first. So you have to get an adult involved in the picture.
Yeah.
That's what we're really after.
Yeah.
We want an adult involved in the picture if a bad guy is trying to talk to, exploit, take advantage of. But the way we translate that to a child is, all right, so we're going to do check first. So before you can go with a stranger, help a stranger, talk to a stranger, or somebody's trying to get you to leave the school, you have to check first with an adult, trusted adult. Really simple.
Yeah.
And then as they get older, we transition to what's a safe stranger, what's a dangerous stranger. What can you if you're in trouble, are you allowed to go to the police? Are you allowed to? And we try to start teaching that. And then when they get older, we get to talk about sexual things like exploitation or trafficking. And trafficking is definitely an avoidable situation. It's almost always the child makes a step in it. We see on television, you ever see the movie Taken or some of these others, right?
Yes.
All right, so a white van pulls up, right? You don't know them, right? And they see a child and they grab a child and take off, okay? Do you know what percentage that actually happens in real life?
You're making me feel like it's probably very low.
Very low.
Yeah.
So 1% or less
Yeah.
of the time does that happen. Normally it happens by exploiting a vulnerability in a child. So something like maybe they don't have a dad, or they got what I call a daddy hole in them. Well, then the trafficker, that bad guy, will start acting like a dad, and they
Yeah.
build a little secret relationship that nobody knows about.
Mm-hmm. Trying to fill that void, yeah.
So by teaching children to have open communication skills with the parent, huge thing. So if the child has this external boyfriend that wants to keep a secret, that the child feels comfortable enough to talk to mom or dad about like the situation, or if he's asking for something that's uncomfortable, they have the opportunity to discuss it. So getting involved in your children's life is huge.
Yeah, I did with my daughter Kirsten at a very young age, exactly what you're talking about. And
Beautiful.
so, I mean, it's kind of the keep your head on a swivel in situations, Don't put yourself in a bad situation. You've got to choose which road you want to go down, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's 7:30. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back with more from Brian Callies of Saving Lost Kids.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Overhead Door, a garage door company that has been with your family from the beginning, through all the ups and downs of life. From the small repairs to making your vision a reality. Overhead Door, your trusted garage door expert since 1921. Be sure you're getting the genuine, the original overhead door service.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home. At Letty's Mexican Restaurant, we are here to keep you safe during these difficult times, as well as serve you the best Mexican food in the area. That's why we've installed a convenient pickup window for all your to-go and pickup orders, as well as a covered outdoor seating area. Give us a call at 870-435-2532 to order your next meal. And don't forget, Letty's also provides catering for small parties or big events. Experience the best in Mexican cuisine. Letty's in Gassville.
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. We're visiting with Brian Callies, Saving Lost Kids. You have a really great website, savinglostkids.org. A lot of information on there. We were talking about your 3-step mission, prevent, and that's getting both the parent and the child involved and keeping them informed for the kids to make safe choices. Now, if something does happen and they run away, they go missing, the next one is rescue. Search and rescue efforts, including awareness, search, locating, and/or rescuing missing and sexually exploited children. So, I know you can't probably dive into the particulars of how you guys do things, but if you can just kind of touch on rescue.
Oh yeah, love it. So at the same time we were starting the prevention, we started doing search and rescue for missing children, and then sex trafficking rescue for children who got into that. And that is not normal usually. Typically we think law enforcement does that job. Right? Well, I want you to think about it. So law enforcement, which we love, so we partner with every law enforcement agency on the planet, right? So we've got sheriffs, local sheriffs and police departments, and then we also have state, and then we bring in a lot of the district attorneys, and so a lot of those are on our board. And then we work when we can to bring in the FBI. We love when they get to help or do something on their side, because the FBI is just really strong as far as that
wide
goes.
net. Yeah,
and they got teeth. So if you get a bad guy and you get the FBI involved, then that really works. But so what we do is to work in cooperation with law enforcement. So we're not a renegade group, which is what a lot of groups are. We don't try to keep law enforcement out. What we try to do is keep them in.
Right.
So, but most of the time, law enforcement's job, pretty much, is to arrest a bad guy. Think about it like that. They're after, how do we get that bad guy off the street or that thing? Where our focus is, let's rescue the child at all costs.
Yes.
And hopefully there's an arrest to be made after that. But our mission is to save the child, do that in cooperation with law enforcement, so then hopefully there's an arrest, and then they can take our information, the investigative side, and then now we have a witness, because usually we have the child, and so they can take that as awesome tools to then go after the bad guy. And in that approach, it's a great marriage, where a lot of times law enforcement's hands are very restricted, because if they don't have the evidence, they don't have this mountain evidence, they don't have a court order, they don't have some of those things, they can't get involved. We step in, and the way we have now rebranded ourselves last year, it really helped. We became basically a security company, and we're all armed, trained bodyguards, so licensed executive protection agents is what they call it.
Yeah.
And so the parent hires us for $1. Now, that bypassed every legality that we have in the state.
Okay.
And so now that we're a licensed body, we're private security for that missing child. We can do whatever we can to help save that child. And it bridges that gap between us and law enforcement, because law enforcement is actually by law required to support us in terms of security.
Yeah.
And then we had to become a private investigations company too, so that we can take the evidence that we recover and now apply that to that
because that's
situation.
Different set of standards, yeah, than just being an individual going and collecting this information.
Exactly.
Okay, very good.
And so anyway, it worked really well. So last year, we recovered 11 children from Tennessee, because we operated originally out of Tennessee, but we're branched out now. So Arkansas, Mississippi is now in our net.
Okay.
And 11 from Tennessee last year, not including the 50 to 60 that we handed to law enforcement with the evidence that they needed to go ahead and do that. So if we can get a law enforcement arm to rock that side, then it keeps us from having to do every missing, and it gets us to focus on the ones that law enforcement doesn't have the opportunity to get behind.
Yeah. So you have somebody go missing. I noticed that you have Adopt a Missing Child, a page that a group or a church or an organization can adopt, as I say, and the information to that child goes on that page and stays on that page until hopefully they're found.
Yeah, so the idea of Adopt a Missing Child, so most people don't even realize how many children are missing, right? It's just never on our radar, and it's rarely on television. It's so, just in my little area, like say around Shelby County, Tennessee, we've got 30 children missing in this year, in this time frame, and nobody has a clue. And so our way of approaching that is there's so many missing child, even in Mountain Home, that probably nobody knows. It's not on the radar. And so what we try to do is say, all right, here's our pool of missing kids that not many people know about. Let's say if we can connect one child to one organization like a church or a school, and they're adopting that child. So then they bring up the awareness. So they're either praying for them, they can put them on T-shirts, they can put a billboard up if they want to. But we're trying to get an organization tied to one missing child.
Okay.
And try to see if we can't boost that awareness of that missing child and some focus on that.
Definitely. Yeah, that's great. Very good. Now, it's a hard thing to think about, that when you do find a missing child and it's gone too far, the sexual part of it. And a lot of people don't like talking about that. But when you have found a child, you have the Restoration Project. It's a Christian home for young girls recovered from child sex trafficking, missing, exploited children. So tell us about that Restoration Project. And is that something that you just started?
Well, it's kind of. We attempted it 2.5 years ago with the idea that we were just going to be a resource center of connecting 30 nonprofits or government agencies like counseling, support services. We tried that model, and that model fails miserably, right? Because it just takes so much coordination to try to keep all that together and make it a cohesive thing that can actually help that missing child.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. So a girl we recovered, and we recovered her 3 times in a row. So 4 times total, but she was 12 and a half, 13, 13 and a half, 14. And the reason is, if you recover a child who's been abused, and in this case she was very much abused, and was trafficked, right? You recover that. If you don't heal that, she's still a victim.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything really, but besides put her in a better location maybe. But a lot of times what the rule is, at least it is in Tennessee, we are supposed to be giving them back to the original parents and the original place that they went missing from to begin with. And that model fails because you haven't changed anything.
Yeah.
So that girl will be trafficked again in 6 months.
Yeah.
Not usually from the same guy, because that person might be, but they're still so vulnerable. Bad guys just see that and exploit it again. So you have to heal that broken, and you got to show them what the life was supposed to be. So that's what we're doing now. Is we partnered with a group out of Alabama, Big Oak Ranch, that is amazing. And we're following their model. They're not allowed to touch sex trafficking, and most states you're not allowed to, because everybody's kind of scared of it, right, of what to do. So, but following their model, we're replicating how they do things they do abuse, neglect, and that kind of stuff. If you follow that model, you can make a home, which is what we're doing, Christian homes for children who need a chance, and that's their motto, and so we're following that. And basically we are giving them a home that has maybe 4 kids per home, and then dedicated house parents. They get paid to be house parents, and they become the new parents of that child, even though they don't do adoption. They're basically like private placement, so the child gets to go there. And when it's all said and done, the child then gets to see life from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And then we give them a ton of counseling and help and therapeutic, equine therapy, pet therapy, art therapies, all these kind of things to kind of let them be a child again and let go of that that wall they put up so that they can be more, they can see what freedom is.
Yeah, to end that destructive cycle that you were talking about earlier where she was 12, 13, 14. It kept going because she was being placed back in the same situation.
Yeah, 2 years ago, there's 600 beds in the country for a child like that.
Wow.
And we've got such a big problem that there's a laundry list of waiting lists that's so long, there's no way.
Yeah.
And those are all in different states. So I will say an announcement I was going to give about that. As we're expanding out, Tennessee is where we were going to build the biggest, largest one in the country. And as we're still flushing out the land in that, Mississippi begged us to build something there, so we're building one there simultaneously is pretty much how we're doing it. And it's we just started talking about it as a board. Why don't we open something up in Arkansas as well? So we're wanting to build.
You're in all 3 states, and
And it turns out that you have to, because there's a lot of state legalities that you can't take a child from Tennessee and put her in a healing center in Arkansas.
Makes sense.
It's I'm not. I think it's kind of silly in a way that why can't we consolidate? But they don't play well like that.
Sure.
So we really need a dedicated one for each one. And so we are considering, since I've got amazing family here, we're considering, northern Arkansas, maybe around Mountain Home, somewhere. Of course, now this is early talks, but we're thinking about building a healing center here.
Very good. It's 7:51. We'll go ahead and take our last break, and we'll be back with more from Brian Callies of Saving Lost Kids.
Harry, I think you were right. I hate to say it.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I think it is finally time for us to move out of this place. Someplace closer to the churches, doctors, someplace you don't have to mow a huge yard. It's time we downsize.
No, I've seen that hottest hotshot agent guy. He's got himself a bunch of listings.
Well, I talked to Grace, and she had some wonderful things to say about the Z Team.
Oh yeah, we've heard them on the radio. I checked out the website at retiredarkansas.net the other day. Didn't really look like they had a lot of listings.
They don't have a lot of listings because they sell them.
Well, maybe it's time for us to call the Z Team. Marge, I think maybe this time you were right.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Call the Z Team, Century 21 Lemac Realty, 1024 Highway 62 East Mountain Home, 870-405-0793.
Hi, Brett, Fritz, and Paisley here at Mower Warehouse on Buzzard Roost Road. We sell Ferris zero-turn mowers that have patented coil spring suspension. Mower Warehouse has the largest selection of Ferris zero-turn mowers in stock. 0% financing available. We buy, sell, trade new and used mowers. Mower Warehouse also services all brands of mowers. We offer free delivery. Come see us for all your mower needs. That's Mower Warehouse on Buzzard Roost Road in Mountain Home, where your business is appreciated.
Oh, welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. He was about to take a sip. Anyway.
Well, I love coffee, it's morning.
Yeah, it is. Identifying this problem is one thing, but if you feel like you have identified a trafficker.
Or potential,
Yeah, potential trafficker, it's said do not attempt to confront them. What should they do?
Okay, so let's say, so if you look on the website, so savinglostkids.org, and there's other places you can see, you can get like some identifiers of sex trafficking. And they're just identifiers. So one of our best agents is a grandma who's, right now she's 70-ish, and she can identify it, but it isn't necessarily because she's picking out one thing off that list. She's just, since like she's around the child, like a situation where there's a child, and she's just caring enough to watch and observe. So that's kind of what I suggest. So let's say you're at a restaurant and you see a child and it's a young child and an older man. Well, that could be a father-daughter. You don't know. That's not what I call a red flag, right?
Sure.
But it's just a situation. And then you see that the dad orders for the child, doesn't ask them any opinions, like the dad's just totally in control. All right. And that could still be just a dad. You don't know. So that's still not what I would call a quote red flag, but it's starting to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just look at the girl. And I'll do this just habitually. I just look at the girl just to see, is she sullen? Is she withdrawn? Does she feel like she's a victim? You know, you can kind of tell.
Yeah,
not always.
Yeah, their demeanor will show.
Yeah, and if I see that, then I'm like, okay, that's officially a red flag. I'm going to start watching for. And then I'm going to just look and observe. Like, do they have burn marks or scars? Are they dressed inappropriately? Do they look like they are dressed like super dressed in a normal place, or very inappropriately dressed in a good place? You know, and I'm looking for signs, and that's when you start looking for signs. And if I see enough signs, I'm going to say, okay, that could be. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that very well could be. So I want to then take notes, so I can tell you what you look like, the height, your whatever. And I'm just taking notes, but I don't want you to know that if you're a bad guy, I don't want you to know I'm monitoring you. What we don't want is somebody to grab their phone and start doing this, or going up to that table, honey, are you okay? You know, it sounds like a good idea, but it's very dangerous.
Sure.
Especially for the trafficker, because the trafficker thinks that somebody's on to them. They have a lot of obligation to do something negative to this girl. So that's why we don't want that trafficker, who's already a criminal, if that's what they are, to then turn around and do something to hurt you. What we want you to do is observe and report.
Do quietly,
If you can look and see what their license plate is, and then report to your local law enforcement, and you say, hey, there's a potential that it could be. I'm not saying that it is. And there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes those reports, you know, by itself maybe doesn't seem like, you know, I saw this, is with this guy, this is what he looks like, this is a license plate, maybe. But when they get another situation, they're like, hey, I can connect that to that report. Now I've got a license plate. I know where the girl might be, because, you know, we kind of connect dots. And that's why we try to help law enforcement. We're just giving them some reports.
Sure. Very good.
That's a really good thing.
There was a couple of numbers on there to either ICE or Homeland Security Investigations at 866-347-2423, or the Human Trafficking Hotline, 888-373-7888.
Yes.
And if you would like to help your organization, how would they do that? Volunteer, donate? They can even sign up for a newsletter just to be notified of things going on and your events going on. But
So we have we do 150 events a year before COVID, so a lot of volunteer opportunities, and then we open up safety centers, and that's the other thing. So we got in Tennessee several safety centers. Now we need to open them up in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And so some good ways that you can volunteer. If you're in the Tennessee area, feel free to come over. If you want to go on our social media and start promoting these missing children by just sharing them, tremendously helpful. But we're looking for some people in Arkansas that are special. So we're talking volunteers that want to help us have a footprint in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to need some people who have feet on the ground here, that have a little community and some friends, and maybe we start to run some events here in
Very
Arkansas
good.
and try to get some of that prevention going. 95% of missing and sex trafficking is preventable. We need to go to that prevention step.
Yeah, very good.
1 minute.
Okay. So you can go to savelostkids.org, and the information on this website is amazing. There is so much. You can see that prevent, rescue, restore missing kids, more, and that's where I went last night and found so much information. You guys are in Memphis, Tennessee at 312 North Oak Grove Road, and you can email info@savinglostkids.org or give them a call at 1-800-308-0607. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. This is a great time.
Definitely.
I'm glad to be here with my little brother, and
I know, right?
And get to meet you. So thank you, my friend. That's
nice
fun.
to meet you.
And thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all for watching. Scooter, thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you.
Awesome.
He pushes them buttons real good.
I'm good at pushing people's buttons.
That's right. We want to thank you all for watching. You all have a great day coming into the weekend. We'll be back tomorrow with Bob Rechtenwald and This Week in Sports, and Bob Zadora and This Week in Real Estate.
You got it.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
Have a blessed day.